Hello and welcome. My name is Ladi Akiredodoale. Tonight, following threats issued to Igbos by a northern group, the federal government reassures Nigerians that they can live anywhere in the country without hindrance. Boko Haram gunmen sack Jidari Polo community in Maiduguri, Borno State. Nigerian army troops repel attack. Independent National Electoral Commission approves 5 new political parties out of 95 applications. And massive storm hammers Cape Town in South Africa, leaving a trail of death and destruction in its wake.
And on business news tonight, federal government pays 375.8 million naira to whistleblowers for releasing information on looted funds.
And on sports news tonight, world number 2 Novak Djokovic suffers shock quarter-final exit at Roland Garros following a 3-set loss to Austria's Dominic Thiem.
From Abuja, the House of Representatives postpones deliberations on 3 bills seeking reform of the petroleum industry.
We begin tonight from Abuja, where the federal government is reassuring Nigerians that they are free to live anywhere they are or want to without fear or hindrance. This reassurance comes in the wake of threats issued by a northern group, Arewa youths, to Igbos, ordering them to leave the north before October the 1st or face mass action. Our correspondent, Gloria Ume Ezeoke, has the story.
Group issuing statements that is capable of stabilizing the polity and then being responded to by another group. I think it's not just starting today, or it did not start yesterday. But what I want to assure you is that the security authorities, the security organizations are very, very much on top of this matter.
Meanwhile, the Northern Governors Forum has condemned statements credited to the group asking Igbos to vacate the north in the next 3 months. Chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and Borno State Governor Kashim Shettima described the comments as unfortunate and irresponsible. He maintains that the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Section 41, subsection 1, is very explicit on allowing Nigerians to reside in any part of the country without any hindrance whatsoever.
That do not have the mandate of the people coming out to stock up the embers of division and disunity. We are one nation tied to a common destiny. The governors of northern Nigeria are not in alignment with those pronouncements and will take whatever measures that are necessary to safeguard the lives and properties of Nigerian citizens living in any part of the north. I am in contact with most of my colleagues. They are all talking to heads of security establishments in their respective domains because we cannot afford to take chances. Yes, among them, there is not even an elected councillor. There are non-entities gasping for breath, for relevance, or for whatever reason. But then we can't afford to toy with the destiny of this country.
Staying with the story, Governor Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State has in the meantime ordered the arrest of those behind the 3-month quit notice given to the Igbos to leave the north. A statement from the spokesperson to Governor El-Rufai described the eviction notice as inciting and aimed at destabilizing the peace of the country. The governor has directed the police and the Ministry of Justice to arrest and prosecute the signatories and anyone found to be involved in issuing such assault on the rights of fellow citizens.
Kaduna State government condemns in the strongest terms the press statement by these self-appointed northern youths. Government hereby assures every resident of our state that their constitutional and human rights to live peacefully and own property wherever they choose is sacrosanct. This government has been consistent in taking action to punish hate speech and incitement. People who may feel unhappy about irresponsible comments or actions that have taken place in other states must know that two wrongs cannot make a right. And they cannot use our state to do or say things that threaten peace of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
And as the story from Kaduna begins to generate reactions, we ask if indeed the threat from the northern youths is anything to hold on to. And for that, we're being joined on the news by the senator representing Kaduna Central at the National Assembly, Senator Shehu Sani. Thank you for giving us some of your time. Now, this is indeed very worrying. What's your take on this, and why do you think this is happening at this time?
Well, my take on this is that the motley group of people who issued that statement from Kaduna consist of anarchist, nihilist, and ultra-nationalistic forces who have, in most cases, exploit a certain event or issue to make threats. And this is not new. It has been for a very long time that you find these groups coming up to issue such statement. But it is very clear for us to see that they don't in any way represent the views, the interests, and the positions of the people they claim to represent. And it's also very clear that they have an aim. An aim was that to incite other persons against a certain particular ethnic group with the particular aim of undermining our peace, stability, and unity as a nation. And it is also very clear that the positions of people of the North, and in particular Kaduna, we don't in any way subscribe to what they have done.
Now, so you would say to those who will be listening to you or who will be watching you at this point that there's no threat to the country's unity at this point by these statements?
Well, Nigeria is such a nation that has passed through moments of storms, of turbulence, crisis, and sometimes through tragedy, and it has always come out very strong. We passed through a period of civil war, military coup, civil strife, religious and ethnic violence, and we emerged stronger. I have a strong belief that this is one of several storms we passed through in the past, and we're going to go over it. What we should know is that it is not new in the history of a nation to have things like this happening, and Nigeria is not different from other nations. If you go to Italy, you find a certain section are trying to get out, and then you go to Belgium, the same thing. Quebec from Canada, and a section in China from Tibet, they want to get out of the country. And then you see forces making comments, but at the end of the day, what will keep the nation is the decision which the majority of the people decide on what to do, and that is we strongly decided to remain one and indivisible, and that will be secessionist forces and reactionary forces like the one you have now from Kaduna will in no way undermine the unity of this country, but that is what they will continue to try to do.
Now, do you think there's anything to the timing of this? Both your good self and the Honorable Minister of Information have both said this is not new. So why is this being done now? Why is this coming up again at this point, do you think?
Well, in our journey as a nation, our history has not been a smooth one. And this is one of so many things which we experienced in the past. If you go back to history, you see what happened during the riots and the violence in the north, and what happened in Shagamu in southwest, and also similar attacks in Enugu, Aba, and Onitsha, and other places, and then in Kano, in Maiduguri, and Sokoto. You will see that this is not new to us as a country, and I believe that Nigeria is a republic that has come to stay. And there is the cause for worry in the very sense that these are young people. They ought to think differently. They ought to focus on issues that will promote the unity, peace of the country, but this is what we are. As a nation, we have a role to play to stabilize ourselves and stabilize the West African sub-region, and we have a role to play within the continent. So I think what is happening today is not new, but I do not believe that they have the capacity to get this country to such a point of violence or of war. But there is a need to always take an action to stem the activities.
All right, then. Thank you very much for joining us, Senator Sani. Thank you very much. Now, it's not cheery news from Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, as Boko Haram terrorists have attacked Gidari Polo community, forcing residents to flee their homes to neighboring towns. Channels TV correspondent Blessing Tuno reports that the terrorists started shooting sporadically around 5 p.m. before soldiers arrived on the scene, forcing the attackers to retreat. The Director, Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Sani says the situation is now under control and urged residents not to panic. Gidari Polo is a community on the outskirts of Maiduguri, and it faced a similar attack in December of 2015, which was also repelled by the security forces. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has registered 5 more political parties, taking the tally to 45. The Commission says it has approved the applications of the 5 associations that fulfilled the constitutional requirements for registration. The new political parties are the Young Progressives Party, YPP, the Advanced People's Democratic Alliance, APDA, the New Generation Party of Nigeria, NGP, the All Democratic People's Movement, ADPM, and the Action Democratic Party, the ADP. The electoral umpire says 95 associations applied for registration as political parties, but INEC has only approved 5, while 2 of the associations voluntarily withdrew their applications.
The Commission today approves the applications of 5 of the associations which have fulfilled the constitutional requirements for registration. These are Young Progressive Party, YPP, Young Progressive Party, YPP. The second one, Advanced People's Democratic Alliance, APDA. Advanced People's Democratic Alliance, APDA. The third one, New Generation Party of Nigeria, NGP. New Generation Party of Nigeria, NGP. The fourth one, All Democratic People's Movement. All Democratic People's Movement, ADPM. And the fifth one is the Action Democratic Party, ADP. Action Democratic Party, ADP. With the registration of the above parties, there are now 45 political parties in Nigeria.
Justice Adeni Ademola of the Federal High Court has resumed sitting following his recall by the National Judicial Commission. He was one of 7 judges whose homes were raided and were subsequently arrested by the DSS last October for alleged corruption. Before his recall, Justice Jude Okeke of the Abuja High Court had discharged Justice Ademola, his wife, Olabowale, and Joe Agi, SAN, of all the charges on April the 5th this year. In part 2, after the break, Federal High Court sitting in Lagos commences trial in the case of former Director of Media and Publicity of the PDP presidential campaign, Mr. Femi Fani-Kayode, and 3 others.